In democracies, we often take voting for granted. It is not only the right to vote, but also the freedom to vote without intimidation and corruption that is equally important. To ensure free and fair elections, several functional democracies conduct voting by secret ballot. As the name suggests, in a secret ballot, your vote remains secret. Do you know who invented this system of maintaining confidentiality of voters? The answer is Australia. Secret ballot is also known as Australian ballot, and for good reason. Before the introduction of ballot voting, it was customary for the voters to attend a mass meeting and shout their preferences to an election official, having first sworn on the Bible that they had not voted already once. Elections in the first half of the 19th century were conducted using a practice adopted from Britain known as open voting. Under open voting, the voter wrote on a piece of paper name of the candidate he preferred and his own name and address. I have deliberately used he and his because at that time only men could vote. So the voter would hand out the vote to a returning officer who would read out the name of the preferred candidate and ask the voter if that was his choice. A clerk would make an entry in the poll book so that later on it could be examined if the result was challenged. Since polling took several weeks to conduct, it was common practice for scrutineers to keep candidates up to date about their progress and for losing candidates to stop voters from voting to the candidates that were ahead. The system of open voting was open for massive fraud. Open voting made it easy for pressure to be applied to traders, employees, and tenants. There used to be cases where tenants were evicted because of how they voted. Henry Chapman, a London-born barrister, proposed the idea of secret ballot, which was enacted into a law on 19th March 1856. So Australia introduced the secret ballot to the world, also known as Australian ballot. But where was it first used in Australia? On 23rd September 1856, during the voting for the state of Victoria. The state of Victoria became the first state to carry out secret ballot in the world. Under this new system of voting, the voters' right to vote was verified by marking their names off the electoral roll in the polling station. The voters were presented with a printed ballot paper. They marked their ballot papers in secrecy in special booths before depositing it in a locked box, watched over by presiding officers, scrutineers, and poll clerks. After the successful experiment of secret ballot in the state of Victoria, it was quickly adopted and copied by other states in Australia, followed by countries such as Britain in 1872 and some states of United States of America in 1888. Today, there are over 150 democracies in the world. So while right to vote is often celebrated, it must not be forgotten that the freedom to right to vote without intimidation and bribery should also be celebrated. Thanks to Secret Ballot by Australia.